Bible Daily Devotional by Pastor Iyadeboye. Today, Friday, October 17th, 2025. Topic: Womb to Marry. Memory verse: Matthew chapter 7, verse 20. Matthew 7:20. Wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them. Bible reading: 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14 to 16. 2 Corinthians 6, 14 to 16. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? And what concord hath Christ with Belial? Or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel? And what agreement hath the temple of God with idols? For ye are the temple of the living God. As God hath said, I will dwell in them, and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Message: Today's Bible reading says that you should not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. Hence, Christians should not get married to unbelievers. If Christians get themselves yoked in marriage with unbelievers, thinking they can change them, they are only deceiving themselves. People who refuse to change before marriage hardly ever change after marriage. It is also important to note that being nice or cautious is not the same thing as being born again. As a child of God, you are standing on God, the solid rock. An unbeliever, on the other hand, is standing on mere clay. When you are standing on a rock and you are holding somebody who is standing on mere clay, the chances are very high that the fellow standing on mere clay will cause you to either stumble or fall completely, because he or she is standing on slippery ground. This is what happens with many believers who think they can change their unbelieving partners. Their partners will, more often than not, cause them to stumble and fall, and they might end up losing their faith in the process. The Bible says in 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 12, 1 Corinthians 10:12, let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall. Also, Christians who are not yet married should not marry people who stubbornly refuse to listen to corrections and make necessary changes in their actions or behaviors. The Bible says in Proverbs chapter 15, verse 32, Proverbs 15:32, he that refuseth instruction despiseth his own soul, but he that heareth reproof getteth understanding. If you are a Christian who is not yet married, don't marry someone who doesn't have an authority figure that he or she listens and submits to. Anyone who does not listen to anybody or submit to anyone will not listen to you either. Also, it is not advisable for a believer to marry an immature Christian. It is better for a believer to marry someone who has attained a level of spiritual maturity and is constantly growing, so they can sharpen each other. Iron sharpeneth iron. So a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. Proverbs chapter 27, verse 17. Proverbs chapter 27, verse 17. If you are not yet married, do not marry a carnal Christian, because such a fellow's attachment to the things of the world rather than spiritual things can also cause you to stumble and fall. Beloved, marrying the right person is like experiencing heaven on earth. However, if a fellow marries the wrong person, he or she will experience hell on earth. Key points: Christians who are not yet married should be careful of whom they marry. Bible in 1 year. Mark chapter 10 to chapter 11. Mark chapter 10 to chapter 11. Hymn for today: Guide me, O thou great Jehovah. God bless you.